Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into an absolute masterclass in wealth building. We are decoding exactly how Beyoncé Knowles-Carter hit a staggering $1 billion net worth. And the wildest part about this, it wasn't from some massive tech exit or a lucky payout. Nope. It was built through a relentless, strategic commitment to vertical integration and an absolute refusal to let go of her assets. So let's just jump right in. $1 billion. It's a huge number, right? Back in December 2025, Forbes officially confirmed that Beyoncé crossed that 10-figure mark. To put that into perspective, she is only the fifth musician in world history to pull this off. She joins this incredibly exclusive club alongside her husband, Jay-Z, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and Rihanna. But what's really fascinating to us isn't just the number. It's the highly specific architecture of exactly how she built that fortune. It really all boils down to her core mindset, which she summed up perfectly. I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. Seriously, think about that. Her path to $1 billion wasn't about cashing out her brand for a massive payday, like we see so many other pop stars doing. Instead, she built this empire dollar by dollar, tour by tour, over a 25-year career. How? By drawing a hard line in the sand and flat out refusing to let intermediaries control the economics of her art. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the $1 billion milestone, owning the machine, the compounding asset strategy, mastering the retail shelf, and finally, the ownership playbook. Okay, part one, owning the machine, specifically the undeniable power of vertical integration. So picture this. During her time with Destiny's Child, who, by the way, sold over 60 million records, Beyoncé is watching the music industry's economics play out in real time. She's seeing the standard machinery at work, the labels taking their cut, managers grabbing their percentages, and these massive production costs that have to be recouped before the artist even sees a dime. Well, she decided she was done with that. In 2010, she founded Parkwood Enterprise. Now, I want to be super clear here. Parkwood is not just some vanity label. It is a fully vertically integrated company. By self-producing her tours and controlling her own distribution, she completely flipped the traditional touring model on its head. She absorbs the production risk herself, and because of that, she secures massively higher profit margins than artists who just outsource everything to middlemen. Just look at the sheer scale of those margins in action. Her 2023 Renaissance World Tour, that grossed close to $600 million. And then she pivots straight into country music with the Cowboy Carter Tour, bringing in over $400 million in ticket sales. Guys, that's roughly $1 billion in gross revenue in under 3 years. Literally $1 billion. And because Parkwood controls the production, industry estimates suggest these tours drove her personal 2025 earnings to an eye-watering $148 million before taxes. It's just wild. Moving right along to part two, the compounding asset strategy, or why holding beats selling every time. You see, instead of cashing out, Beyoncé's wealth is entirely built on patient capital. Think about the massive rights acquisition boom we've been seeing lately. A lot of her peers are selling off their catalogs for one giant payday, like Britney Spears, who sold her catalog for an estimated $200 million. But Beyoncé takes the ownership route. She retains outright ownership of her catalog, which is valued at around $300 million. With 35 Grammy wins, literally the most of any artist ever, those tracks are out there generating compounding royalties and sync licensing deals 24/7. It's the ultimate difference between getting one big check and securing a continuous, perpetual income stream. And that exact same patient ownership-first strategy, it applies directly to the physical world too. Specifically, the Carters' $313 million real estate portfolio. They don't just throw darts at a map. They aggressively acquire assets using a highly specific strategy. Geographic diversification, but only in markets they intimately understand. They focus on places like New York, Los Angeles, and her hometown of New Orleans. They are leveraging deep cultural connections and local market knowledge rather than just buying property for the sake of it. Take their Bel Air estate, for example. The property was originally listed for way more, but they played the long game. They waited, they negotiated, and eventually locked in an $88 million deal on what is now an unbelievably valuable mega compound. Add to that a $26 million estate in East Hampton, and it just proves that having patience and a real connection to a market gives you absolute leverage. Honestly, the strategy is exactly the same whether you're trying to negotiate a $600,000 starter home or an $88 million mansion. The only difference? Just a few extra zeros. All right, part three, mastering the retail shelf. Let's look at the exact blueprint she uses for physical products. So, branching out beyond music and real estate, Beyoncé has aggressively scaled into the retail sector. We've seen her launch Sacred, her hair care brand, and Sir Davis, a premium American whiskey she partnered with Moët Hennessy to create. But look, retail is an absolutely ruthless environment. The Beauty Connect Retail Ready Playbook makes it super clear. Getting onto retail shelves demands verified proof that your brand can actually scale consistently. Buyers are smart. They don't just stock their shelves based on celebrity sparkle. They need hard data and operational readiness. So what exactly do these buyers demand? Well, the playbook lays out 3 rigorous, non-negotiable steps. First, proven product demand. Second, an organic community. And third, a scalable supply chain. Actually, 100% of surveyed retailers said proven product demand is their absolute top signal for scaling. And Beyoncé, she executed these steps flawlessly, making sure her brands didn't just show up, but completely dominated the fiercely competitive beauty and spirits markets. The proof is totally undeniable. Sacred didn't just lean on her famous name, she backed it up with verifiable demand. We're talking 2 million paying customers and a waitlist of over 100,000 people. When the brand hit Ulta, it doubled its initial sales forecast in a single day. A single day. That is textbook proof of how an organic community directly translates into retail conversion. For a retailer, that completely removes the guesswork. It's a guaranteed win. Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, the ownership playbook, and the key lessons you can take away from all of this. So what does this billionaire's architecture mean for you and your own ventures? Let's do a rapid-fire summary of her playbook. First up, vertically integrate your operations. Capture your own margins instead of handing them over to middlemen. Second, hold on to your appreciating assets. Whether it's a catalog, intellectual property, or real estate, resist the urge for a quick, one-time payout. Third, diversify geographically, but strictly buy in markets that you genuinely understand. And finally, back your product launches with verified hard data before you ever try to scale into retail. You absolutely do not need to be a global pop superstar to apply these fundamental principles to your own life. So as we wrap up this explainer, the final question I want to leave you with is this. How can you start building an enterprise of patient compounding ownership? An enterprise that never actually requires a buyout? Seriously, will you build the company that makes selling unnecessary? Think about that as you structure your next venture. Thanks so much for exploring this playbook with me on The Explainer. Now go build your empire.